what you will learn in this episode.
Discover the real key to fluency and why it's not about living in an English-speaking country.
Uncover the surprising benefits of immersing yourself in your favorite movies and shows to boost your language skills.
Learn why consistency and patience are your best allies, and how to stay motivated when progress feels slow.
Get the inside scoop on how practicing speaking, journaling, and phonetics can supercharge your language learning journey.
Right. So a lot of you are looking for that inside track, how to actually become fluent in English.
Yeah, it's a huge question we get all the time.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into one specific journey Anna's from English Fluency Journey on YouTube.
Yes, her story is really compelling.
It really is. What I find fascinating is she got to this, really good level. She reckons maybe 18 months, 2 years?
Something like that, yeah. With a big chunk at the start, like 7 months, just purely focused on listening.
And crucially, she did this without living in an English-speaking country.
Right, and initially she didn't really have native speaker friends either, which that makes it super relatable for a lot of learners.
Totally. So, okay, let's get into it. What were the sort of the core parts of how she did it?
Well, the big thing that jumps out is this idea of learning naturally. Kind of like how we pick up our first language as kids.
Okay, so less formal study, more absorption.
Pretty much, especially at the start. Her first focus was almost exclusively listening. Just listening to English content.
That sounds intense. Did she say it was easy?
Oh, not at all. She talked about her brain boiling, and having to look up words constantly at the beginning.
Been there.
Right. But she pushed through it. And that intense listening, it built this really solid foundation. It's like you're filling up a tank subconsciously before you even try to speak.
Yeah, that makes sense. Building the receptive skills first. And she gave some practical tips for that listening phase, right?
She did. Like, starting with educational videos, the pace is often slower, clearer explanations.
It's starting point.
Then maybe moving to TV shows or movies you already know the story of.
Yeah.
That way you're not struggling with plot and language.
Ah, smart. Reduces the cognitive load a bit.
Exactly. And she stressed, don't worry about catching every single word straight away. That understanding, it builds up over time. You absorb the patterns, the sounds.
Before you even try to produce them yourself. Okay, got it. So listening first, then what?
Then she kind of shifted gears into more active engagement. She started following English accounts on social media, things related to her hobbies like cooking or fitness.
So bringing English into her daily scroll.
Yep. Passive exposure, but consistent. It all adds up.
Yeah.
But she didn't just stop at passive stuff.
No, and this next bit is, I think, really key. She joined a Facebook community.
Yeah, a community of other non-native speakers. And she got involved in a daily speaking challenge.
Daily? Wow. What did that involve?
Recording herself speaking English on different topics, and then posting the videos in the group.
Okay, that takes some guts, especially early on.
For sure. She admitted it was uncomfortable. But the payoff was huge. Just the act of practicing daily, watching herself back, getting feedback from peers. Her speaking improved massively.
And that was a free resource, she pointed out. It really shows, doesn't it? Pushing past that discomfort zone, even in a safe space like that, can really speed things up.
Absolutely. Deliberate practice. And then there's writing. That was another big piece for her.
Right. The notebooks. She filled 5 thick notebooks.
5, yeah, with vocabulary, grammar notes, everything. She really felt that writing things down by hand helped lock it into her memory.
I find that too, actually. There's something about the physical act.
Totally. And she wasn't just copying things. She was using the new language, writing little stories, making her own example sentences, keeping a diary in English.
So actively producing written language, which kind of bridges the gap towards speaking confidently.
Precisely. It builds that active vocabulary and grammar use.
Okay, so listening, speaking practice in a community, writing. What about things like pronunciation? Many learners worry about that.
Yeah, she consciously decided to work on her pronunciation, aiming for an American accent.
Why the American accent specifically?
Well, partly personal preference, but she also mentioned wanting clarity and showing respect for the language and its speakers. It wasn't about sounding perfectly native.
That's an interesting point. It's more about clear communication than mimicking, maybe?
For her, it seems that way. Clarity and preference were the drivers. She even used platforms like Cambly sometimes.
Ah, the online tutoring sites.
Yeah, just occasionally for specific questions or extra speaking practice. She knew it cost money, but saw the value. Apparently, she used birthday money or holiday gifts sometimes to pay for lessons.
Resourceful. And speaking practice wasn't just Cambly, right? She found other ways too.
Definitely. Online speaking clubs were another thing she did.
Okay.
But, what seemed really impactful was when she started speaking English regularly with her husband and her son.
At home, even when it was hard.
Yeah, even when it felt awkward or challenging at first.
Oh.
Her big motivation there was wanting to teach her son English well, with good grammar and pronunciation.
Ah, so teaching her son became a huge driver for her own learning. That's powerful.
Super powerful. That kind of intrinsic motivation, tying it to something deeply personal, it really fuels progress.
Absolutely. And then she took it even further, creating her own content in English.
Right, the YouTube channel. Starting that meant she had to research things in English, structure her thoughts, explain them clearly. It was like language practice on steroids.
And Instagram, too, you mentioned. Posting in English.
Yep, posts, stories, just weaving English into the fabric of her daily life online. Plus, she kept up the passive learning, listening to podcasts on all sorts of topics she liked.
Psychology, self-development.
Exactly. And reading a lot. It's this constant, multi-pronged immersion she created for herself.
It really is. And one fascinating thing she mentioned was shifting from learning about English to learning in English.
Oh, yeah. Taking courses on subjects she was interested in, but taught entirely in English.
Not English language courses, but courses using English as the medium.
Right. That gives you that deeper immersion, keeps it fresh when maybe general English studies starts feeling a bit, repetitive.
And it tackles that common fear, doesn't it? That feeling of, I'm not ready to use English for real things. Her advice was basically,
just go for it. Learn by doing. Learn through the experience. Don't wait until you feel perfect.
So, wrapping up her whole approach, it really wasn't one silver bullet, was it?
Not at all. It was this tapestry of different activities, all done consistently. Listening, speaking, writing, engaging, creating.
And that consistency seems key. Daily practice, continuous engagement, even now.
She emphasized that.
Yeah.
And also just enjoying it, finding it felt right and natural for her, that intrinsic motivation again.
It's amazing to hear someone say that something that felt impossible at first is now just fine,
Right.
enjoyable even, still learning every day, but it's okay.
Totally fine, yeah.
Yeah.
A lifelong journey, but a rewarding one.